Logical Mgtow. This is Logical Mgtow Spock. And I am going to say that many women think that, those, of course, the feminists, think that they can still tell us guys what to do. Even with the fact that they know that men are pulling away from the plantation. The one other aspect is that many women expect us guys to believe that we are feminists ourselves, and even Mgtow Hamster says, no, we're not. Those feminist and Me Too movement followers and members and believers need to realize you cannot consider men to be feminist because you want to be the top of the gender per capita. You will never be the top above the male. The male was never really the top above the female, but it's always been equal, just like the one thing that I mentioned, which is the entitlement aspect, has always been 50-50, and yet even the feminists don't want women to realize this, but women and men have always been on the equal level on even the per capita aspects of the gender. The wage percentages may vary, but that's not the man's fault. Even if the female feminists and the lost and confused teenage male feminists and Me Too followers believe otherwise, then guess what? You'll lose that because the percentages that the male feminists, that even the teenage male feminists that consider them to be themselves to be feminists, will be taken to the bank. And through the court system as well, in the divorce system, if you want to be simping to that belief system. Mgtow men will never go back to the plantation. And there's a person by the name of Emily the Mgtow Slayer. She has been commenting on Mr. Hate Vicious Mgtow member comment thing there, trying to tell us Mgtow men, to how to be and how not to be and what to do. The basic fact is that even Emily the Mgtow Slayer, as she calls herself, she can't do that. Because the feminist women are so desperate for us men to go back to the plantation, just so they can take us for everything that we have, starting with our finances from our wallets. What the fucking fact that women do not get, especially the feminist and Me Too women do not get, is because women have only viewed men as this, just so they can get to our finances and the basic dollar bill. And the fact that they're so indecisive that they think they can go up behind our backs, that women have thought that they had every right to go behind our backs, cheat on us, and expect us to forgive them. Thereby, it would still give them an open door to do it again at the woman's leisure, and expect the guy to believe that that she's still faithful, that she's true to him, when she's truly not. And women expect us to go that route, even if it affects us emotionally and psychologically. They don't give a damn. Thereby, they want to claim that they give a damn. But guess what? In the 1950s and 1940s, women were true to the man. But ever since the late 1980s to early 1990s, women have become way beyond the untrue, unfaithful, unloyal benefactors in relationships. And yet they want us guys to live with it. Yet, I've said many times before that when us guys have cheated on women, they either slap us or kick us in various areas and then leave us. Thereby, just like it shows on Sex and the City, when I believe it's one of the redheaded female's character's husband cheated on him and cheated on her, essentially, right? He wanted her to forgive him, right? But she didn't. Thereby, they were on a separation aspect. Then eventually went to marital counseling. That worked for them eventually, but it doesn't always work for all people. Yes, it was scripted, but still, there are times where it can, and there are times where it won't work because of the female indecisiveness is continuous. Women don't want us men to know this. Women don't want men to know many things that I know about women. Thereby, even Mgtow, the Mgtow hamster, I believe his name is James Vaughn, whatever, right? Oh, anyways, I know he's the Mgtow hamster. I know he has his name on the thing, but anyway, the Mgtow hamster even had one person saying, "You are a feminist," and she didn't like the fact that men couldn't accept the fact that they are feminists as well. No, the fact of it is that we men don't have indecisiveness running through our very soul. We men do not have a continuous base of indecisiveness going through our emotions like women do. We men do not have indecisiveness to where we think that we can get away with things and our partner has to deal with it and forgive us like women try to do with us men and have practically succeeded because the guy may think that he can't get anybody better, which he can. There's many women that will not do that, that will be 100% faithful, but guess what though? The truth of the matter of it is that how can we tell, how can us men tell that of who's that type of a woman who would be 100% true to us? We can't. So therefore, we men have become Mgtow. There's Mgtow hamster, Mgtow brother, Mgtow logical Mgtow Spock, and also Undead Chronic, and also Adam, Coach Adams, essentially. And of course, Mr. Hate Vicious. And of course, Mike the Mgtow Monk. Although feminists and Me Too movement, the one thing, just because you don't hear much from the others that are all true Mgtow members, doesn't mean that you've won the battle. You will never win the battle. The basic fact is this. You women caused this to where there's a male support group because of your indecisiveness, your inadequacies, your illogical actions and movements and thoughts and emotions and what have you. We men didn't cause it. We men wanted to have a long-standing relationship and marriage with you, but yet, even in the relationship, many women decide to cheat on the guy to see if she can get anybody better, and to see if she can get any more out of the other guy more than she has so far of the one that she supposedly claims to be true to. This has happened more than once in every month, year, day, week, and century. From the 1990s on through, from the late 80s through the 1990s, that is, and on through, and it's even happening today. And many women have been caught by getting laid by the best man before her wedding. There was one video I saw that 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 the best man and the bride to be at the time was making out with the best man. And she didn't think that the groom would find out. Eventually he did. But I hope he didn't go through with the wedding, because if he did, then more often than not, I bet she'd probably do the same thing over again. And say, I got pregnant by you, my husband, when she really didn't. Thereby, it's another Maury Povich thing. You are not the father. You got to realize this is the truth. This happens more often than it did in the 1950s. I mean, hell, it didn't even happen in the 1950s. It may have happened on and off in the 1970s and 80s, but it's more often than not, it happened in the late 80s through the 1990s, and it's even happening today, where the father that is even emotionally connected to the child that's not biologically his, that he finds out, and yet she either bolts off the stage if she does a thing through the Maury Povich show. And there's also a paternity court show that does the same thing. But on that one, the woman can't bolt off the stage or off the set. And yet feminist women want us men to accept it, deal with it. And there's another one I mentioned, which was women want sexual freedom. If you want the feminists and Me Too movement followers and members and believers, which are mostly females, if those females want sexual freedom, then don't get married. And thereby, you cannot, even if you do get pregnant, you cannot expect a guy to accept that he's the father when he could easily be nowhere near biologically connected. Just so you can get to his resources. No man with a brain is going to deal with that kind of crap. No man with common sense and logic in his head, to start with, will deal with that. No man with confidence and trust and belief and love and honesty within himself will not deal with that from any woman. So therefore, you feminist women, including Emily Mgtow Slayer, needs to back off and quit invading our YouTube videos. You don't like it when we roast you feminist little bitches. But guess what? You asked for it for doing the illogical things you've done before the current feminist movement and before the current Me Too movement and before Mgtow became established for men. So therefore, the only ones that you can blame logically and realistically, ladies, is you. You cannot blame the men. So Emily Mgtow Slayer needs to back off, or I will easily get the people who police the internet daily to kick you off 100%. Emily Mgtow Slayer. And also those feminists who and Me Too movement little bitches that think that men should consider themselves feminists. You're living in a fantasy world. That will never happen. We men will never consider ourselves that. Hell, I don't even consider myself that. And yet, aside from the Mgtow, I work as an advocate. But at the same time, I don't consider myself. Even then, I don't. Even when I'm working as an advocate, I don't consider myself a feminist. I consider myself a strong, confident, logical-minded man and a strong, confident, true, loyal Mgtow brother and member, and that will stand. Because women have been the illogical gender. Men have not been the illogical gender. Men, as I said earlier, men don't have the indecisiveness that runs through their emotions like women do. Yes, there are times that we can be indecisive, but not repeatedly like women. The indecisiveness for men doesn't run through our emotions and souls like it does for women, continuously. So therefore, again, we men are not at fault. Mr. Hate Vicious, you wanted to have a meeting? How about you and I have a meeting on Saturday, along with Mike the Mgtow Monk and Undead Chronic and James Vaughn Mgtow Hamster, I believe is what the name would be on that one, right? And see what we can, what we would want to discuss first off. I'm open for that. Just let me know, and then we can discuss that on say Hangout, on G Plus Hangout essentially. On another aspect, many of you feminists may wonder why I became Mgtow, with the fact that I was once married. Mm, and yes, aside from everyone else, and I'm not saying I'm perfect or nothing, which I'm not going towards that direction at all. I would never go towards the fact of thinking that I'm perfect or above anybody else. But I can say this, that when I was married, the one thing was is that my situation was different, but yet the one thing also is that when I went back in the dating world, the dating field, as it were, as what's known as a plantation, before I became Mgtow, I'm gonna tell you straight out, it wasn't logical. So therefore, I became Mgtow. So because I'm not gonna be snookered and duped into illogical crap from women and orchestrated by women. There's no way. You want to call it a safety net all you want, but guess what? I know logic. I know psychology. And I know the female and male psyche. So, Emily the Mgtow Slayer and many other feminists back the fuck off. And even Rose the feminist, back off. You do not know nothing about Mgtow. You will never know or even understand Mgtow. Thereby, you will, all feminists and Me Too females will be hitting the wall. The wall is always going to be victorious. And the more you're going to allow your indecisiveness and your constant tomfoolery crap, you will always be single. You will not have a man. And if you do have a man, you won't have him for very long. And you will not ever make Mgtow weak in any way. And I'm putting out there that Mike the Mgtow monk come out of hibernation, and you and I can talk as well, my friend, because obviously we have a number of feminists and Me Too movement little witches that think that by many of the Mgtow hiding, that they think that they won. We need to show them in some way that they have not. And also, angry Mgtow needs to realize he cannot diss the Mgtow just because certain things about Mgtow has changed. But there's change, and it's a positive change. It's a build up from where Mgtow was in the beginning. As angry Mgtow talked to one particular possible feminist as well. You don't, and if angry Mgtow doesn't like the fact that I put that out, hey, you should not have talked to a feminist at all now, because that makes you angry Mgtow not a true Mgtow member, and it's seen that you consider to be pulling away from Mgtow and doing your own base of Mgtow off of social media. Keep doing it, because you'll be just a traitor, essentially, in that sense, angry Mgtow. And I'm being honest and logical and truthful to you. I would never lie about anything. I haven't lied about anything when it came to me doing advocating. I've never lied about anything when it came to what I've said, even since I've been Mgtow. The Mgtow movement is getting stronger every day, every month, every year, every week. Although we do have one person that kind of is another person that's pulling away from Mgtow. His name is Alec Fleming. Yet he wants to make more videos. Hey, that's okay. It's his content. But if he wants to pull away from the Mgtow way of things, then we can easily consider Alec Fleming back in the plantation. That would be a positive for the feminists and Me Too movement, now wouldn't it, Alec? I'm not dissing you or nothing like that, but the basic fact is that you back away from the Mgtow movement because certain things seems to be shall we say unstable, which basically I can help fix it. And if you want to know how that is, just ask me. Alec Fleming. And I can easily tell you straight out. Even video chat via Facebook Messenger. Or even a Hangout as well. The basic fact is that I know many ways that not very many, if any, Mgtow members have thought. And we haven't lost. But if we keep on having people either go in hibernation, if you want to call it that, like Mike the Mgtow Monk, and many others, and those who pull away from the Mgtow group, like Alec Fleming said that he was going to do before he did the letter video. We need to get more Mgtow men that will not do that, that will stay true to the Mgtow movement. We've already lost one by the fact that he talked to another feminist. And again, his name is Angry Mgtow, or he called himself Angry Mgtow, even though he somewhat recently, if not totally recently, changed his if you want to call letters, or renamed himself essentially in that sense. Yes, things may seem hairy right now, but that doesn't give a reason to pull away or hide. I did a CRPHA video when it came to freedom of speech, even for the Mgtow members under CRPHA, and thereby those who want to use their personal views and actions in the sense of feminism, even while they're in the aspect of employment, and while in the base of employment, they think they can use their personal views when it comes to feminists against us Mgtow. They can't, because if they do that, they're going against the Constitution. And logical Mgtow Spock believes in the Constitution, and just as an advocate, I still also back the Constitution. And if any company goes against any company employee, CEO, or whoever goes against the Constitution, they are not truly American. And those who use their personal views when it comes to feminism and the Mgtow movement by attacking the Mgtow movement in any way, shape, or form, and any illogical reason especially, even though they may think it's logical when it's not, then they're going against the Constitution in the sense of freedom of speech, and I will not stand for that even as an advocate. Every person has a right to speak and tell how they feel, especially on their own content. If you have any questions, and if you want to say anything, just let me know. And this is Mgtow Spock. Live long and prosper.